everyone! I have now owned my Kindle Paperwhite for 10 months, so I think it's time that I did a review of it, which is exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about what I think of it, how I like it, if it's worth the money or not, and all that jazz. Hi Snooze! Hello! Meow. I have made a list on my phone of the pros and cons when it comes to my Kindle. Let's start with the positive things. And I just got a message from my mother. First of all, a very big advantage about owning my Kindle Paperwhite is the fact that I have easy access to any book. If I all of a sudden want to read Robinson Crusoe, then I can do that because I can just get it on my Kindle. If I want to read the newest book by Rainbow Rowell, I can do that because I have my Kindle, and that's fantastic because normally when I want some new books I have to order them online or I have to go to a bookshop and I don't have access to them immediately. Which also leads me to the next great thing about it, which is that pre-orders actually arrive on the same day they are released, which is not always the case when you pre-order a physical book. As some of you know, sometimes it will be days or weeks before you actually receive the book, especially if you live in Denmark as I do. So pre-orders are available on the day they are released, at least if you've got a Kindle. Another great thing is that when you have a Kindle, you also have access to samples of any book you might want to read. So if you're not sure about it, you can get a sample of the first few pages, few chapters for free. So you can read that sample, and if it's something for you, you can go directly to the Amazon place and order the book and then have it in about 2 minutes. I really like those samples because I have been anticipating getting some books, but I wasn't sure if it would be something for me, and those samples really helped me out. Another obvious one is that normally ebooks are cheaper than physical books, which is always a good thing because then you have more money for more books. But I quite like the fact that ebooks are normally cheaper than physical books. And I say normally because I'm going to get to that later. Another thing that I'm very attracted to when it comes to my Kindle is that I can carry 10,000 books with me if I want to in one device, so that I will never run out of stuff to read. That's great because normally I would carry about 6 or 7 books with me if I knew I wouldn't be at home for several days, which is not a problem, but books are heavy and a Kindle is not, so I like that. And also you don't have the same amount of books on your shelves to take care of. For instance, when you're moving, you can have so many books on your Kindle and it's so easy to move, but when you have as many books as I do on your shelves, which are physical, then it will be a pain in the ass the day you have to move. I have to admit that. Now let's get into the actual device, because when I open it, I have my book immediately in front of me where I left it. Now, what I like about reading on my Kindle is the fact that it's very easy to read on. The light is very pleasant, it's easy to hold in your hands and all that jazz. But also, when you read a book, you can see other people's highlights. So if there are a lot of people who have highlighted the same lines, then you can see it when reading. It will say 1,700 highlights in that quote. And I like that because it kind of helps me share my reading experience with other people. It makes me aware that other people like this passage. So I don't know, some people hate it, I like it, but you can make that not appear if you want to. And also, I'm sure you know this, but you can look up any word in a dictionary. I'm from Denmark, so sometimes there will be a word in English that I don't understand. Then I just highlight it and there will be an explanation of the word in the dictionary. So convenient, so easy, and I love it. And also, the best feature about this Kindle, and I'm sure that all the other kinds of Kindles also have this feature, there is something called X-ray. If you encounter a name in the book, for instance Ben, if I don't remember who Ben is, it would show you a description of who the character is. which is so clever because I often forget people in books. Obviously, I'm aware when I read. I know what I'm reading, I'm paying attention, but sometimes there are so many characters and it's hard to remember each and every one. I actually sometimes read a physical book and I encounter a name I can't remember and I try to highlight it, which is so funny because obviously I can't do that in a physical book, but that's because I'm used to my Kindle and I like it. Now I do have a lot of pros and I have 2 more to go. First, it has such a long battery life, this Kindle, this specific Kindle. I have looked up some of the newer ones where you can also go online, but their battery life is about 8 hours, and when you read, to me at least, that's not enough. I want to be able to read 1 or several books on my Kindle without having to charge it. This one, however, will last for weeks. Obviously, it depends on how much you use it. If you read for hours and hours each day, then it will maybe last for 3 or 4 days. But if you read like a couple of hours a day, then it will last for weeks, which I really like. And if you don't use it, if you only use it for about 20 minutes a day, it will last for 8 weeks. At least it says so in the descriptions, in the manual to this Kindle. So I really like that. And the last thing I really like about it is that you have access to all the classics in the world for free. So if you like reading classics as I do, then know that you have access to them on this Kindle. Now, that was all the pros. So let me get to the 3 cons that I do have. I've already briefly discussed one of them, and that is that sometimes the ebooks are expensive. They are even more expensive than the physical books, which I hate when that happens. You don't own the book, the physical book, when you buy it on your Kindle, and so to me that means that it should be cheaper. You don't get the physical book to hide on your shelves and to cherish and look at, but sometimes they are more expensive for the Kindle, and I don't know how often that is the case, but it does happen, so that's really aggravating. It's not the most beautiful transition that you get from one page to another. I don't know if you can see it, but whenever I try to switch the screen, it takes some time for the picture to appear, and maybe that's just me, but I find it a little bit annoying and somewhat ugly, just because I'm used to beautiful design, Apple products, and this is not that. But once you get past that, it's just a great device, so it's not a problem to me, it's just something that I've noticed. And the very last con that I have is the fact that I had a plan when I bought this Kindle to read my books exclusively on this device. But that hasn't happened because if you're a book lover like me, you need to read some physical books as well. And it's just another reading experience that you get from reading on a Kindle, I have to admit that. It's not a bad reading experience, it's just different. So what I have found out is that I need to read physical books as well. So I change a bit between this one and physical books, which is totally fine with me. As long as I have access to books, I'm happy. So yeah, my plan didn't go as I had hoped for, but I'm still very appreciative of my Kindle. This was my review of my Kindle Paperwhite. All in all, I very much love it. I am so happy to have so easy access to all the books in the world. So definitely I would recommend that you buy it because it's a really good device. And yeah, just that's my opinion. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments down below if you have any, or if you have any questions about it. I will try and answer as many as I can. Thank you so much for watching and happy reading, everyone. Bye bye.